Hi, I'm Michael Josh, and you're watching GadgetMatch. In 2018, a great camera maketh a great smartphone, at least when we're talking about the cream of the crop. So this week, we set out to find which of the two best camera smartphones in the market today takes the best photos. This is our Samsung Galaxy S9 versus Google Pixel 2 camera shootout. Like every other camera comparison we've done in the past, the parameters are the same. Rear camera, default camera app, mode set to auto, and a comparison based purely on unedited JPEGs viewed on a single monitor. Okay, let's get on with it. We begin this shootout on a beautiful sunny day in Singapore. We're shooting against the light and testing each camera's ability to preserve both details and color. The S9 is a clear winner here. We like how the red umbrella is more vibrant and closer to how it looked like in real life. And if you zoom in closer on the upper right hand side, you'll find that it didn't blow out the background. So much so that you can see the wires above the building. On the Pixel 2, the same area is just white. This next shot could go either way. The S9's photo is more warm and a little bit brighter, whereas the Pixel 2 is more contrast and darker blacks. But if you zoom in closer on the globe, the shot taken by the Pixel 2 looks to have preserved details better. In this macro shot of a bougainvillea flower, both phones did a really good job in capturing details. When shooting up close, the challenge is to get more of the subject in focus. Here is where the S9 has a slight advantage, focusing on both the flower and the stamen. This is where the camera's dual aperture function comes in handy. Because we shot this outdoors, the camera switched to f2.4, giving us more details. The Pixel 2 stuck to f1.8. Both phones did a good job, however, with the Pixel 2 shot giving you a bit more contrast, allowing the flower to stand out a bit more. Too much saturation hurts the S9 in this case. It's pretty much the same story in this next comparison. The S9 produces the brighter photo, and the Pixel 2 adds more contrast. When I took this photo, it was golden hour, and the light was shining on the sculpture. The Pixel 2 tamed the light a tad bit, so it doesn't glow as much. Either way, both did a good job. This next one is too close to call. The S9's photo is brighter, even if it used f2.4. It also produces more vibrant greens and oranges. Overall, the Pixel 2's photo feels a tad bit gloomier, but only because we're comparing. We love Singapore's Peranakan culture, a mix of English and Oriental influences. Here's a traditional shop building shot with the sun slowly starting its descent behind it. Keeping subjects lit when shooting against the light is always a challenge, but the S9 did a good job here, keeping the foreground bright and the colors rich. It also didn't blow out the sky, which the Pixel 2 did in the upper right-hand portion of the photograph. Next up, a food shot, a must-try when you're in Singapore, curry prawn laksa noodles, which looks more appetizing on the S9's photo, even if we didn't use food mode. Both shots are great, but not as good as the noodles tasted. Here's another low light shot from inside the food hall. Both did equally as good. As usual, the S9's is a tad bit brighter and warmer. I'm quite disappointed that it still didn't switch to f1.5 here. The lamps would have made some pretty awesome bokeh. A good test of a phone's low light capabilities is indoors at night. Considering how the S9 is supposed to be the better low light camera, I prefer the Pixel 2's shot here. While the lounge was indeed on the yellower side, it managed to adjust its white balance accordingly. Notice the difference in color on the marble countertop. I also like how it rendered the liquor bottles in the background. We're back at the Universal Globe, and now it's nighttime. Both did an amazing job, but I like how the Pixel managed the light so that the Universal sign is not as blown out and the smoke not as fuzzy. Last but not the least, we test out both phones' ability to take great portraits. Because the previous examples were shot when I was on a solo photo walk, I'll have to borrow an image we took in Barcelona. Both the S9 and the Pixel 2 have only one camera, and as such, background blur in portraits is done by software. The Pixel 2 uses machine learning and something called computational photography, and as a result, does portrait cutouts much better. That's not saying the S9 didn't do well. Both great photos of Joshua. Every year goes by, comparing the cameras on flagship smartphones is getting harder and harder, both in daylight and when it's dark outside. The S9 from Samsung and the Pixel 2 from Google did equally well. Deciding which of the two shoots better photos boils down to personal preference. Do you like the S9's warmer, more vibrant photos, or do you like the Pixel 2's higher contrast and more color accurate photos? But because as always we have to pick a winner, and because I'm the guy behind the lens, I personally prefer the photos of the S9, but only by a very slim margin. What about you? Which photos do you prefer better? Let us know in the comments section below. That was our Galaxy S9 versus Pixel 2 camera shootout. For more shootouts, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, follow GadgetMatch on social media, and make GadgetMatch.com your daily habit. Until the next video, I'm Michael Josh. Thanks for dropping by.